You may think that the characters in The Adventures of Rocco and Artie were created in early 2010, but some existed before then. In this documentary, I'll take you from the origins of the series to its relaunch happening right now. I'll also talk about the flaws leading to the original cancellation of the animated series in 2010. All this and more in The Adventures of Rocco and Artie, One Incredible Journey. To see the origins of The Adventures of Rocco and Artie, we must go back to June 2009 when my family went on our trip to Denver. It all started back in 2009 when I received the summer issue of National Geographic Kids. The main story was about the red panda and its loss in habitat. I was curious and researched the red panda. Instantly, they were one of my favorite animals because they were so cute. Coincidentally, the Denver Zoo, which we were going to visit when we went to Denver, had a red panda exhibit. When my parents and I visited the zoo, we saw a red panda. Before we left the zoo, I bought a plastic red panda, later known as Rocco. Now that explains how I got Rocco, but you may still be wondering how I paired them together since they are not related to each other. You may think that I just randomly paired them for the series, but they were paired before then. I paired them together because Rocco and Artie were the smallest in size. It only seemed natural to pair them based on size since some of my animals are small and some are big. This story of me getting Rocco relates to how Rocco and Artie came to be together in the series. Artie and Avatar me adopted Rocco at the Denver Zoo. Remember, I bought him there, and takes him home with him. Once I came home from the trip, Rocco, Artie, and Skipper and Friends, Rico Kowalski and Private, starred in Penguins on a Mission. It was a TV show resembling the Penguins of Madagascar. They had to go on various missions. This show was considered to be a precursor to The Adventures of Rocco and Artie. But unlike Rocco and Artie, it was another project filmed on the bed. Unfortunately, as of mid-2011, it has never officially been released. So the idea was implanted for an action-adventure series, but it had taken the wrong turn being filmed on the bed with little scenery and action. Even though the idea for Rocco and Artie was planted in June 2009, the development of the actual Rocco and Artie series as we know it started in early 2010. When I was tasked in 5th grade with creating a short book for Young Authors Day, I came up with The Adventures of Rocco and Dustin. Originally, it was going to be Dustin with his pet red panda Rocco working in the agency. They were to live in some city in the southwest United States. As described in his character description, Dustin was a normal 11-year-old kid with an exotic pet red panda Rocco. The original concept may seem nice to you, but there were some issues. First off, I can't draw people too good. I can only draw animals well. Then I would have to create all new characters and locations. I only had a few months to develop my story. Also, it was too much like Phineas and Ferb. As I realized that I could not do Dustin, I thought about replacing him with Artie. After all, I had drawn Artie before, and he and Rocco starred in Penguins on a Mission. I decided to go with Artie working with Rocco in the agency. With Artie came the whole pretend city of Penguin Point and some developed characters. I decided to have Skipper be the major of his division of the agency because in the pretend world, he works as a police officer. The agency is related to the police because they both catch bad guys, except the agents prevent them from causing trouble. Naturally, Artie's mom and dad were included in the story and their home in downtown Penguin Point next to the Cape Hen Studios. But there was something missing. I needed a villain. On February 22nd, 2010, I finally named the main villain Dr. Dave Rookery. But Dr. Dave is not a doctor, it is only a self-imposed title. The only two reasons I gave him the doctor title were that I wanted the name to sound evil and to mimic Phineas and Ferb. With the primary development phase now complete, it looked as if everything would be okay. But little did I know that trouble was already brewing. With the fixing of the original story of Dustin and Rocco and the setting of familiar Penguin Point, it's hard to believe that decisions made in early 2010 could affect the fate of the series. The first major mistake was in the marketing. Normally, most projects only advertise the release time frame after it has been halfway completed, But before I even typed a word on the animated episode's script, I had already set a release date of May 2010. That meant I had only 2 months from finishing main development to complete an episode. I overlooked the fact that I needed a few episodes to start the series. The announcement of the release date added unneeded pressure on me to fulfill the date of May 2010. In February 2010, I started rolling out ads to my website, even though I had not even fully completed the development phase. The next mistake came in developing the Artie brand in March 2010. It all started by me making a billboard advertising it during free time in math class. Over the next few weeks, it expanded into a portal on my website complete with fake product descriptions. Almost the whole month of March was devoted to the Artie brand. I even came up with a fake operating system, Blizzard OS. I did not do anything Rocco and Artie except update the wikis on my site and do the required work at school. This was a major blow to the animated series. Not only was the fate of the Rocco and Artie animated series at stake, my reputation was also on the line. I premiered my first Rocco and Artie video, the Rocco theme song, in history class in February 2010. Everyone was surprised that I made the video. When I told everyone that I had a website, they were amazed. Despite the good comments on the theme song, things only turned from bad to worse in April. By April 2010, I had said that the anime series was on shaky ground in my newspaper. Another way the animated series was doomed was because of Paint. Because I was new to animating and did not want to spend money, I thought Paint would be okay for animating. It was not good for animating. If you wanted to move something, you have to erase the area of movement and redraw it slightly different. Sadly, on May 6, 2010, I officially announced in an email that the animated series had been canceled. Here's an excerpt of the email. From email on 5/6/10. Rocco and Artie animated series canceled. Now it's official. The animated series is canceled. It had to be canceled because me or my dad don't draw well. We're just weeks away from the original premiere dates, and I haven't drawn or animated more than in February. We were just too far behind schedule. We had to call it quits. Now it will turn into a book series. But to keep the original voice acting, select books will have an audio CD of the book. It will also be available to buy separately. It will play on any CD player. It will come with a precise guide to get to the part you want. I wanted to keep the voices but not draw. If it was just a book, the readers would have a real understanding of how the characters sound. So an audiobook, or one with a normal book, is the best combination. You get the art without drawing too much and the voices. The series will be available in June on both book and audiobook CD format. Look for more online, and also to pre-order the CD or the book, go to artiespenguinin.com. This email was widely circulated. It went directly on my old website as well as on email. It was the main feature of the Action Penguin News newscast in May, but what you are seeing came from my school PowerPoint. It somehow was untouched on a flash drive. It is the only written surviving evidence of the cancellation, as my old website was deleted in January 2011. After I broke the news that the series had been canceled, people lost interest in it. My reputation was shattered. I would have to start the book series on this cracked reputation. It was now June 2010. The book series was due to be released. It was also to be recorded on audiobook. The audiobooks never came. The book series was finally released on June 22nd, 2010 on my website. It was only a scanning of my school book. I should have released the books throughout the summer, but the next book came in late September. The reason there was no books was because of my video software search. When we got the new computer, my primary editing software, Showbiz, was not compatible with it. I used it to edit newscasts and to burn them on DVD. In the summer of 2010, I went through a handful of editing DVD making software. Most of them did not work. I finally stuck with Movie Factory from Corel. So it was a frantic software search that hindered my book series, but there were also some other distractions. Another distraction after I released the first book was the TV antenna. When we visited Mora for the 4th of July, we got an antenna from my uncle. The whole month of July 2010 was spent researching antennas and how to get a strong signal. I was not able to do Rocco and Artie then. In late September 2010, the second Rocco and Artie book was released. Right after that book was released, I started work on the big Halloween special. This is where all the episodes got out of line. Originally, to stay in chronological order, I was to release about 4 episodes before the Halloween book, hence production code 109. The previous episode's code was 102, which means season 1, episode 2. I had developed 7 episodes, although some were canceled, to be released before the Halloween special. My solution was to go ahead and release the holiday book for Halloween. I was supposed to jump back to the story after the Halloween book, starting in chronological order with the story in early 2010. But since I needed to do my major Christmas book, I scrapped that plan. I put all episodes but the open house episode on the back burner. Since the original dates in the episode would need to change, I put them in the unreleased episodes category where they remain today. Will Rocco and Artie ever get back on their feet? Find out after the break. In September 2010, I signed up for Ustream, an online video streaming site. My first shows were just music playing because no one watched. In the website and newspaper in late September, I announced new original shows. They were Rocco's Talk Show, a comedy and talk show with Artie, Artie's Prank Calls, The Price is Right, and Rocco and Artie. They were supposed to premiere on my Ustream channel, but they were canceled because I had no audience. The Rocco Talk Show was going to be a talk show with Rocco. It would mainly cover news. The comedy and talk show with Artie was going to be a talk show similar to the one with Rocco, and a comedy show similar to late-night talk shows. Artie's prank call show was going to be fake, scripted pranks. Rocco and Artie was the animated Rocco and Artie, and The Price is Right was going to be a game show using the Ustream poll. So was the animated series returning? We shall find out. But sadly, none of the other shows were expanded beyond the details you see here. They were canceled because I had no Ustream audience. It looked as if the Rocco and Artie series might make a comeback, but the release got pushed back to the holidays. It was because I was going to use Paint again. After I realized I couldn't release the series in time for the Christmas special, I moved it to early 2011. But just to be on the safe side, I decided spring 2011 would be okay. It looked okay for Rocco and Artie till I hit the website speed bump. The website speed bump hit in November 2010. My old site had been renewed, but it would cost me to keep my old site. I decided to get a new website to cut costs. I got artiesrookery.com through GoDaddy along with hosting. It was perfect. I got the domain name I wanted and server access. The upgrade was good for my website, but bad for Rocco and Artie. The open house book, which was due in November, was delayed until early December. This was because I had to start my new website from scratch. I had to learn how to save and upload web pages and how to work in Publisher. I registered my current site on November 13th, 2010. And from then until the end of the month, I worked hard to open my new website. By December, I was starting to transfer pages from my old site to my new site. While that was happening, I had this note on the home page of my old site. One of the first pages transferred was the Rocco and Artie wiki, as well as the Penguin Productions wiki. After I transferred the pages, I deleted them on my old site. As the note said, after I finished transferring pages, I intended to leave just the home page up. It would just have this note there and the news. After Christmas, I took a break from transferring pages because of my new teaser trailer and the Christmas book. Unexpectedly, my old website shut down in early January. I had not transferred many pages, just the Rocco and Artie and Penguin Production wikis. At first, I was frustrated that I did not complete the transferring on my old site, but it actually helped me out because I did not transfer all the old pages on my old site. My new site was not as cluttered. Unfortunately, I lost most, if not all, of the old website's news. The animated series started to take shape in December 2010. At that time, I was developing the animated series teaser trailer. Again, because I had not gotten Anime Studio yet, it was drawn using Paint. I put it together using Windows Movie Maker. But the full rebirth of the animated series happened in early 2011 when I got Anime Studio Pro. When I got it, I thought you could import pictures to animate them, but I was wrong. I had to redraw Rocco and Artie in Anime Studio. But luckily I had a character library where I could save Rocco and Artie and put them in different scenes. So far, the rebirth of the animated series looked perfect. But was this a repeat of last year? In March 2011, I started to plant a botanical garden in my backyard. For about a month, I did not do much on Rocco and Artie. Then in April, the TV kept things slow. Yet I had still done more than that time a year before. I had the first few pages of the script finished and a general idea of the story. But that was not the majority of the bump. Marketing issues hit me again. On the teaser trailer I released in December, I was originally going to have the date as spring 2011. I delayed it until the summer for extra time. If I was really cautious, I would have said coming soon without a date. When summer started, I knew I wouldn't be able to release the series then, so I removed all dates attached to the series. On my website, I stated the dates of Season 2 as to be announced through to be determined. Also in April, I started my online store. Although it is related to Rocco and Artie, it ate up some time from the animation and story because I had to tailor the store to my liking. Ideally, I should have worried about merchandising before I launched the series, but I did it then. As you have seen, getting here has been one incredible journey, and that's only the beginning. With the ongoing relaunch of the series, the main part of the story has yet to be written. So continue watching the adventures of Rocco and Artie and join us on this incredible journey. Well, that's all I could fit into this documentary, but join me online at artiesrookery.com for more details that couldn't fit in this documentary. And don't forget to order your official Rocco and Artie merchandise at store.artiesrookery.com. Thank you very much for watching and being part of this incredible journey.